Okay, here's another in a series of videos that are going to look through and show how to set up a ROS system and look at all the detailed parts. So up till now, we've installed ROS 2 on our system. Notice there's this directory called ROS 2 here. We've got OpenCV, we've got Dynamixel so we can control some servos. We have Vosk set up for a voice recognition system, and eSpeak set up for our so that we can actually say things. We can add other items later if we like, but let's start with those. We've already set those all up. We've through our videos have created all of this, and now we want to actually do something with it. So what we have to do, by the way, this is on my PC, but I'm remote logged in through our remote viewer to my Raspberry Pi. So let's go ahead and look at some things we're going to do. So let's go ahead and we're going to go to ROS2 workstation. And let's go ahead and source our OPT ROS humble setup.bash. So that gets our ROS2 all set up. And we've also downloaded some code. Let's go back and cd to downloads. And there's some code left over from some of our OpenCV stuff. But what I'm really interested in is this MyID robot. This contains a set of capabilities that we're going to put right into our ROS2 that are going to define a robot for us. And there's a couple of ways, or a couple of definitions here. So one of them is a robot arm. That's one we're going to look at. So it's called MyID robot _arm. That's that. This is a compressed file set. The other one that we could look at is this one, which is MyID robot R2. That's a different set of capabilities, same core capabilities, but that one's designed to run on one of my R2D2s. So instead of controlling smart servos, it's going to control the DC motors and some other capabilities on the R2D2. We're going to focus on the ARM today. We might look at the R2D2 at a different time. So what I need to do is take this compressed archive. This is available on the iLearn site. And I'm going to move it over. So let's go ahead and we're going to go to ROS2 workstation. I'm going to go here. I'm going to go to source. And we're going to move that to here. I've called it something a little bit different here. Don't worry about that. But what we're going to do now is take this and we're going to unzip it. And we're going to unzip it to a set of directories called MyID robot. So I'm going to cd to MyID robot. And I'm going to cd to MyID robot again. And these are the set of source files of almost all of it in Python. And there's a set of files there's some of these that are legacy files. So originally this robot was set up to use Pocket Sphinx as its voice recognition. That's changed. We're going to use the Vosk voice recognition. We've got some older capabilities, but we're going to focus on, again, Vosk, and we're going to go ahead and look at all of this in detail. Before we do that, I'm going to go back to here, and I'm going to source install setup.bash. So once I've set up my source, then I can do this. And once if I correctly uncompressed MyID robot and set everything up, I can now do what we call a CallCon build. So this builds everything in the system and prepares everything for us to go ahead and run some stuff. So we're going to do that now. We're going to ask it to build everything. and it's going to go out and look at everything that we have and go ahead and create some files for us so that we can actually run our capability. Okay. So we've got our capability now. It's all set up. And we could actually run some things. So one of the things that we could run is we could do ROS2 run my ID robot. And for example, we could run a one of those files, just one of those executables. So this says run just one of those executables. Now, will it do anything? No. Well, it will do things that it will program, but it won't talk to any other programs because no other programs are running. However, we could run one of those, for example, the Smart Servo program, and then feed it through the messaging system a set of inputs and see if our robot moves. So there's plenty of ways to do that. We're going to go that in detail, but this allows us to run a single node. If, however, we want to run a combined set of capabilities, we're going to do something called a launch. And we have already created that launch file. And we'll talk about this in a few minutes. But if we create a launch file, what it will do is it will go ahead and start executing a set of files for us. And in this case, it would create this particular launch file, and we'll look at this in the future. We'll start all of the different nodes that we need for all of our different capabilities. But before we do that, let's go look at some files. So I'm going to go ahead and go source, and then I'm going to go ahead and change to my robot. And notice, by the way, here's our launch file. And so if I went to there, I could see what I've set up. I'm going to do that later, but I could actually see what my launch file does. Right now, I'm going to go to my ID robot, and we're going to look at some of these. So we're going to spend some time now looking at each of these files, but we're also going to look at the overall system design to see what's going to happen. So what we're going to see is that we have a voice publisher node written in Python that's going to be monitoring the microphone, and as voice commands come in, as it recognizes a command that our system wants to do something with, it's going to send that command via a messaging system over to this main subscriber. The main subscriber is sitting there waiting on that particular message topic. When that message topic receives a message, it then takes a look at that message and decides what to do with it. One of the things it can do with it is just send it right over to the servo. So we could say something that says go to a home location, send that over to the servo, and the servo would move to that. In addition, we have what we call an OpenCV subscriber. So if, for example, we want to locate something with our robotic arm, so we want to use our webcam to look at something, we're going to use the OpenCV subscriber. So that's an initial look at our files. In the next video, we'll look at them in more detail. We'll look at the overall system design, and we'll start understanding what each one does. And then we're going to run each one and either look at data or feed it data. And then eventually we're going to look at that launch file and see how they all work together to create a complete robot.